Hey everybody, Steve Joy here. I thought it would just be kind of interesting to take a look at Pathfinder 2nd edition versus Pathfinder 1st edition. So here we have the Pathfinder 1st edition, here we have the 2nd edition. Now, full disclosure, I haven't actually played 2nd edition, but I have played lots of Pathfinder 1st edition. And I picked up the picked up the 2nd edition. I just have the core rule book so far, but it's pretty interesting, and I think I really like it. So I'm a big fan of the original Pathfinder. I enjoyed it a lot. I found that Pathfinder itself was pretty crunchy. I think compared to 5e and stuff, 3.5 is actually really crunchy, and I mean that's what Pathfinder's based on. So I found it pretty crunchy, and especially compared to right now with so many less crunchy games out there. A lot of the indie games and D20 games and stuff like that, and 5e again. I think Pathfinder is still pretty crunchy. But one thing I found interesting is in the first edition, it was a lot harder to find stuff, and so it felt a lot crunchier. Whereas Pathfinder 2nd edition is so well laid out, it actually really doesn't feel that crunchy. And I'll show you what I mean. With the first edition, you don't have any kind of index on the side here. Now, I like the look of 1st edition better. I love these pages and so forth. But one thing that really caught my attention about 2nd edition was here. You can find things very easily because you can see there's an index here. And that corresponds with, can you see that? With the side here. And you can see, so they're color-coded. So all you have to do is basically, I want spells. So you look, there's spells. Boom, you're in spells. I mean, that's great. Whereas opposed to the 1st edition, now obviously once you get, used to the game, but if you're not used to it, it can take a while because you kind of have to reference this all the time. Now what I usually do is just add bookmarks. But you really don't actually have to do this. I mean, you might find it useful in a few places, but mostly you just don't have to. I think the 2nd edition rules are a lot better laid out. Another thing too is I really like the art in the 1st edition, but in the 2nd edition, there just seems to be a lot more of it. Maybe I'm mistaken, but it just seems like there's a lot more art. Yeah, sure there is. That's how it looks to me. So another aspect of it that I like in the 2nd edition. Now, don't get me wrong, I still love 1st edition. So if you like 1st edition, I'm with you. I agree. But in the 2nd edition, the character creation seems to be a lot easier. They have this here. I'll show you. So they no longer call anything races, because apparently race is a problematic word for some people. So they've gone with ancestries, and so I suppose that'll become problematic in a few years. But right now, ancestries is okay. So anyway, you choose your ancestry, but it's got the classes. It tells you what your ability boosts are, ability flaws, right here, key abilities, secondary abilities. It's just all laid out right here, like super easy to find. Just boom, there's all this wealth of information. And then once you go, and you find an ancestry, say like the dwarf that you want to play, Then you've also got something called heritages, which I think the wording is very poor. What they're talking about is cultures. But anyway, they call them heritages. Sounds more like culture to me. But then you've got like the Death Warden dwarf, the Forged dwarf. And they all have like little minor differences that might be fun for someone to play. Rock dwarf, strong-blooded dwarf. And I imagine there'll be lots of books with lots of other things. And then they've got ancestry feats, you know, as you go up in level. I think that's really a nice addition to the game. Whereas when you come over to the first edition here, and you're talking about races, or well, no, races. Yeah, races. They talk about races, so obviously the language here is problematic. Look at that. Obviously Nazis. So what happens here is you don't have heritages, and just the way it's laid out. I mean, you can see the races here, but then you just hit with these walls of text. Well, the art I love is gorgeous. And I just think, and then when you come over to the classes, of course, trying to figure out all the classes, you're hit with tables and then walls of text trying to figure it all out. I just think that the second edition is it's just laid out so much better. And I love the addition of heritages. And I don't care. I mean, if you want to call them ancestries versus races, you know, have at her. It's a cosmetic change in my opinion. But anyway, I've been alive long enough that I've watched all kinds of words. People will claim that they're problematic, and then a few years later, the words they tried to replace them with, people start saying those are problematic. You know, you just can't win. So the other thing I found was that the second edition seems to have, like, the magic system seems to be easier, and it seems to make a little more sense. Well, here I'll talk about the actions first off. So the actions are really interesting. So just a minute here, I gotta find them. Here, let's use that. It's in playing the game, I believe. Yeah, see how easy it is to find stuff? And I haven't even played this. Okay, so up here you can see you've got little symbols. So all you basically need to remember is what these are. And this is just how long it takes to perform different actions. It's a lot simpler than first edition was. And so when you go over to something like skills, right? It's a lot faster. I mean, these are all the skills, quite simple. And you've got the actions right here for the different skills, and it tells you how long it's going to take to perform the actions. And then you've got levels of abilities with the actions, which you can see here. Now, I really like this next little feature, is that depending on your level of ability, it kind of gives you different things that you can do. So it's a little bit more in depth than, say, just increasing your bonus and getting a better chance to do things. But as you can see, I mean, this is really crunchy, in my opinion, compared to the you know, sort of the simplified games that I usually prefer playing, such as White Box or White Hack. White Box. But you know, this is crunchy, but it's so easy. I don't think the crunch would be a bother. I don't think the crunch is a problem. And now, don't get me wrong, I used to play lots of very crunchy games. It's just that I don't have time to put in. I don't have that much time to put into setting things up and creating stuff and setting it up to DM a game. I just find that crunchy games require a lot more effort on the part of the DM to set up. at least for me, because I always like to do my own worlds and stuff. I don't like to play in the generic worlds. That's one thing. I just I don't know if if the video is going to come out before this or this is going to come out first, but I did a review of the Blue Home game, and that's something I really love about that game, is it just so totally captures the old feeling of, this is your game, you're creating this game, make it the way you want. I don't get that feeling from Pathfinder, or even 5th edition, or 3.5. I didn't even get that feeling very, very well from 2nd edition. I really have to go back to Moldvay or Holmes, those ones, or the White Box. I have to go back that far, or even for that matter, 1st edition D&D, before I get that feeling again that I used to get when I played role-playing games, way back then, that I don't get if I use these games, which is why I kind of shy away from these kind of games. Now, don't get me wrong, I like playing in them. I'm not much for DMing them, like I say, because it just adds a lot of extra work, I find. And, and I find that that's a problem. So, for me, obviously everybody's going to feel differently about it. So, this is the skills for the 1st edition. And again, you're just hit with this big wall of text, and you're hit with these big tables, and it's just not as easy to understand. 2nd edition's just brilliant for that. I was very skeptical of 2nd edition. I was all prepared when I picked up this book. I was all prepared to hate it, because why? Because in my opinion, this was a great game. I mean, you couldn't really do much to it, I didn't think, to make it better. That's, I'm a big fan of this game. But they did. They managed to make it quite a lot better. Right? And so back to the actions here. Not skill descriptions. Where were the actions? See? I gotta try and find it. Actions in combat. I don't know if that's what I was looking for. 181, maybe. I'll just see here. Actions. Yeah, okay. So you've got your different action types. So here, you can see, this is a big difference, right? You've got your standard action, move action, full round action, free action. Then up here, you've got your swift action, your immediate action, not an action, and restricted activity. Which isn't an action, obviously, but anyway, it all modifies the actions that you can do. Whereas with 2nd edition, not only do you have fewer actions, but they have symbols, and they're just integrated into the game way better. So, that's another aspect of 2nd edition that I really like. And it's kind of annoying, because I really like this game, yet this game. Yeah, I really like this game, but I have all of the books for this one. I guess, I don't know. I guess if I get into a game with this, I guess I'll have to start picking up the other books. But anyway, I actually took advantage of the Humble Bundle, so I actually have the e-versions of a lot of the books, which is really nice. So, yeah, I'd just say overall, Pathfinder, 2nd edition, it feels simpler, and maybe it actually is, but a lot of the simplicity seems to be more aesthetic. And Pathfinder seems to be like, to be honest, I mean, Pathfinder seems like it's from a different age, actually. Pathfinder 2nd edition, I'm really all for it. It's great. I'm willing to I'm willing to switch over to it if I get into a game. You know, it's not something I want to run, but it's something that I certainly would like to play in. I think that would be a lot of fun. Yeah. So, let me see. Have I missed anything? I don't think so. I think I've got... I think that's over. Yeah, that's all my points. Okay. So, yeah, that's my comparison between Pathfinder 1st edition, Pathfinder 2nd edition. And I like both covers. I don't really have the artist is you know, what's his name again? He's a wonderful artist. Let's see here. Cover art, Wayne Reynolds. Yeah, of course. Why don't I know that? But anyway, the art. I think there's more art in the 2nd edition too, which is always a great way to sell me on a book. So yeah, that's my video. That's it. I just wanted to compare them since I picked this up and I was looking at them and I was thinking, hey, this is pretty cool. I actually want to play it, and I actually really like it, and I do think it was. My mind's been changed. Like I say, I went in with a bias. I was going to be like, why the hell would you want to update, you know, to a 2nd edition? I get it. Good job, guys. They did a good job. So, yeah. All right. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll talk to you next time. All right. Take care. Bye.